Donald Trump has announced the U.S. will officially recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, boasting that previous presidents had promised to do so, but failed to deliver. It comes amid warnings that the move will plunge the Middle East, and the world, into a fire without end. In a speech from the White House, Trump said, in 1995, Congress adopted the Jerusalem Embassy Act, urging the federal government to relocate the American embassy to Jerusalem and to recognize that city, and so importantly, as Israel's capital. This act passed Congress by an overwhelming bipartisan majority, and was reaffirmed by a unanimous vote of the Senate only 6 months ago. He said successive presidents had exercised a waiver to avoid following through on the act. He added, "Some say they lacked courage, but they made their decision based on the information they had at the time." Live, President Trump says Jerusalem is Israel's capital after being accused of declaring war on Muslims. He went on, "Jerusalem is not just the heart of 3 great religions, but it is now also the heart of one of the most successful democracies in the world. Over the past 7 decades, the Israeli people have built a country where Jews, Muslims, Christians and people of all faiths are free to live and worship according to their conscience and beliefs. The United States remains deeply committed to helping facilitate a peace agreement that is acceptable to both sides. I intend to do everything in my power to help forge such an agreement." Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu did not comment on Wednesday on the planned move. Israeli Justice Minister Alat Sheikh said Israelis should wait and see what happens with Trump's announcement. In his speech, Trump added, "There will of course be disagreement and dissent regarding this announcement, but we are confident that ultimately, as we work through these disagreements, we will arrive at a place of greater understanding and cooperation." Trump will sign a national security waiver delaying a physical move since the United States does not have an embassy building in Jerusalem to move into. A senior administration official said it could take 3 to 4 years to build one. But Trump's decision, a core promise of his campaign last year, will upend decades of American policy that has seen the status of Jerusalem as part of a 2-state solution for Israelis and Palestinians. Jerusalem's status has been a stumbling block in decades of on-off Israeli-Palestinian peace efforts. Israel considers the city its eternal and indivisible capital and wants all embassies to be based there. But Palestinians want the capital of an independent Palestinian state in the east of the city. The Palestinians have said Trump's move would mean the kiss of death to the 2-state solution. He is declaring war in the Middle East, he is declaring war against 1.5 billion Muslims, and hundreds of millions of Christians that are not going to accept the holy shrines to be totally under the hegemony of Israel. Manuel Hussein, the chief Palestinian representative to Britain, told BBC Radio. Trump's announcement is widely expected to spark unrest in the Middle East and beyond. U.S. officials have already been warned to avoid Jerusalem's Old City and the West Bank until further notice. Washington's Middle East allies have all warned against the dangerous repercussions of his decision. A spokesman for Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan warned today the U.S. actions was plunging the region and the world into a fire with no end in sight. Pope Francis called for Jerusalem's status quo to be respected, saying new tension in the Middle East would further inflame world conflicts. China and Russia expressed concern that the plans could aggravate regional hostilities. "I think it's long overdue. Many presidents have said they want to do something and they didn't do it," he said in a cabinet meeting ahead of his midday speech on Israel. Senior Trump administration officials said Trump's decision was not intended to tip the scale in Israel's favor and that agreeing on the final status of Jerusalem would remain a central part of any peace deal between Israel and the Palestinians. In defending the decision, the officials said Trump was basically reflecting a fundamental truth, that Jerusalem is the seat of the Israeli government and should be recognized as such. The president believes this is a recognition of reality, said one official, who briefed reporters on Tuesday about the announcement. We're going forward on the basis of a truth that is undeniable. It's just a fact.